My name's Aaron. Welcome back to my channel. How are you? I am fantastic and I'm doing really well. Reviewing Maison Francis Kurkdjian Paris Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait de Parfum. Beautiful packaging. This is £320 for 70 ml. The notes are Egyptian jasmine, saffron, ambergris, Moroccan bitter almonds, cedar, woodum, musky, woody accord. I think he is a brilliant perfumer, and I think his skill set is utilizing aroma chemicals to smell amazing. So each perfumer, I think, is very good at doing different things. That is his skill set. He undoubtedly has a signature. You can smell his stuff, whatever he does, he has a signature smell. Apparently he's the new perfumer at Dior, and congratulations for such a brilliant position, and he's worked very hard for it diligently over years. This undoubtedly is, I would say, groundbreaking, and I would say it absolutely has a signature smell, and it has been duped massively. And this is the extract, and there's the other version as well. And I'm going to talk about both within this review because I thought that might be interesting for you. Do we have our bottles of £340 Baccarat Rouge Extrait de Parfum? Are we engaged with our higher self? Let's get testing. So I think this is a staple in a lot of people's collections. And men and women both like it, which I think is very cool. The colour sort of sits with it, synonymous with them. The original is primarily ambroxan, oak moss, hedione, and a few essential oils. It's so clever. It is light and airy masses of hedione in it, which gives you the jasmine note, shapeless, formless, and loads of sillage, which is why people love it. But this one has more jammy quality to it, so it's taken the original. It doesn't say anything about the concentration of it, but I would expect the concentration. I would hope the concentration's increased in it, but you kind of never know, do you, unless it's on there. Not everyone is transparent as myself. It's taken the original and it's added on some sort of jammy quality to it. This has ethyl maltol, not just whipping through the base, but right to the core. And in the combination of the ambroxan and the oak moss-like raw materials, which can be a little bit bitter and unpalatable, sweetens it beautifully. But this has more projection to it. It still has that light airiness to it, but it's sort of more high impact. There's a dryness to this one. I would say it's using the more high impact hedione because it's sort of more high impact. So the highest hedione, and it's using a raw material, which I've never spoken about, called Triethyl Citrate. Triethyl citrate is a solvent. You can make different concentrations of raw materials, and there's lots of different types of solvents, propylene glycol, but triethyl citrate at the sort of has a slight fruity quality to it, sort of blackcurrant or cherries, all that kind of stuff, and it's used, and it's sort of quite noticeable in high amounts with this. This smells like it's got heliotropin in, but it hasn't. And there's a benzaldehyde, which can oxidize, and heliotropin, the sort of smell of almonds. I prefer heliotropin personally, but this contains benzaldehyde. This is sweeter than the original, so it still has citrus in the base, but I would say it has a different citrus, sweeter. So I'd say along the lines of tangerine, clementine, or orange, sweet orange. On to my final thoughts. This is polar opposite to my style of perfumery, which I think is fantastic because I personally think that each perfumer does a different type of thing. And as I've mentioned before, when somebody is buying a fragrance, they're buying the perfumer's brilliant mind, and perfumery is so difficult. I kind of think you can learn about it, but I kind of think the best perfumers are kinetic learners. You just do it, get on and do it, and you really understand how raw materials work within a formulation. I think this is just so skillfully done and so brilliantly done. I hope one day to create something that's groundbreaking and well loved and changes, the face of perfumery. I would love to do something like that. I kind of would. That's what I try to work at. every day, which is sort of trying to use different raw materials in different ways. But I think this is just brilliantly done. So I'll go through my marks with you. The first 2 marks are the box, safe, legal, compliant. Yes, I think it's a brilliant, safe, legal, compliant. Next 2 marks are the price, $340. How I feel about this is, I think you're buying pretty packaging, and I think you're buying the name and all the rest of it. And I do think it's sort of, in my opinion, I think it's sort of overpriced, if I'm honest with you. I think it's a 1 out of 2. Next one is longevity and projection. On my skin, this doesn't work at all. It just sort of fades to nothing, to be honest with you. But I know on some people's skin, it's monstrous. So on my skin, it's not very good at all. But I recognize that some people out there, it's phenomenal. So this gets a 1 out of 2 for my skin. The last 4 marks are whether I like it. I think this is phenomenal perfumery. And I think it's very clever. And I think this is him at his best. I think it's very likable. I think it's groundbreaking for what he's doing. And I prefer this one to the original. If I'm honest with you, this is sort of sweeter and softer and more sort of like lift to it. Loads and loads of lift. This makes me realize why I love perfumery, because I think this is so clever. I'm going to mark this an 8 out of 10 for all the reasons why I've said. I personally don't think it needs changing at all. I think it's excellent. It's signature. I think it's very, very cool, but it's not for me. I wouldn't reach for it. I wouldn't have it. We're all very different. So left that review, thumbs up and subscribe for more fascinating, interesting content, lots of moving hands and lots of fragrance reviews. Hope you're staying safe and well, and I'll see you soon.